My name is Teresa Morgan, and before everything fell apart, my life was quiet in a way that felt heavy but safe. I lived alone in a small beige house at the end of Willow Creek, a place where nothing dramatic ever happened. After my divorce, I had learned to survive on silence, long evenings, predictable routines, and a loneliness I pretended not to notice. My two sons visited when they could, but most days it was just me, my job at the local clinic, and the soft hum of an empty house. It was a Tuesday evening when my life shifted, though I didn't know it then. I had just finished dinner and was scrolling aimlessly through my phone when a message appeared from a name I didn't recognize. Daniel Hart. "Hi, Teresa," it said. "I hope this isn't strange. I came across your comment in a divorce support group. You sound like someone trying to heal, and I admire that." I froze. I don't even remember joining any support group, but seeing those words, someone acknowledging the pain I tried so hard to hide, stirred something inside me. I should have ignored it, but kindness, when you've been starved of it, becomes addictive. So I responded. Over the weeks that followed, Daniel slipped into my life like warm water into cold hands. He was gentle, attentive, funny in a quiet way. He told me about losing his wife years ago, about raising a daughter alone, about working on a big engineering contract overseas. He always sent photos. Him in a hard hat, him with machinery behind him, him smiling that soft smile that made me feel like maybe good men still existed. We talked every night, sometimes for hours, and each night the loneliness in my chest loosened. I started laughing again. I started caring about what I wore, how I looked, even how my hair fell over my shoulders. Daniel called me my sunshine, my strength, my Teresa. He said I made him feel alive again. I believed him. Looking back, the red flags were there. He insisted we move conversations to another app. He never video called unless the room was dim. His connection was always bad. His schedule too perfectly aligned with my evenings. But when your heart is desperate to be held, your mind becomes blind. Then came the night that shattered everything. He called in a panic. Real panic, or what sounded like it. His voice shook, breath ragged. "Baby, something happened. I'm in trouble. The government here froze my account because of a contract dispute. I can't pay my workers. If I don't fix this, I'll lose the company. I'll lose everything. I'll lose you." I felt my chest tighten. I remember pacing my kitchen, the phone pressed to my ear, my fingers trembling around the counter. I asked him what he needed. I should have hung up. I should have questioned everything. Instead, I opened my bank app. I didn't have much. Years of bills, debts, and scraping by had eaten away anything resembling savings. But I felt responsible for him, for us, for what I thought was a future. So I sent $2,800, the lawn of my emergency fund. The relief in his voice after the transfer sounded so real that I cried. "You saved me," he whispered. "You're my angel." But angels bleed too. In the weeks that followed, the requests continued, each wrapped in a fresh emergency, a customs fee, a tax issue, an injured worker, a document that needed processing. Every problem came with urgency. Every transfer came with promises of payback, of love, of a future. By the time I finally stopped, I had sent almost $27,000. Money I didn't have, money I borrowed, money I will spend years trying to recover. But the emotional debt was worse. I hated myself for being so gullible, so desperate, so foolish. Then, one morning before work, my friend told me about reverse image searching photos. I tried it, heart racing, breath shallow, and the truth slammed into me like a truck. Every picture Daniel ever sent belonged to someone else. A real engineer in Texas. A man who had never heard my name. I dropped my phone. My knees gave out. For a long moment, I sat on the floor of my kitchen, shaking so violently I thought I might pass out. I wasn't Daniel's love. I wonders how'd anything. I was just another target. The morning after I discovered the truth about Daniel, I woke up with a headache so heavy it felt like grief had settled inside my skull. My eyes were swollen, my body tired, but my mind was sharp, painfully sharp. I wasn't the same woman he met weeks ago. Something in me had snapped and reformed into something colder, more focused. But even then, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to fight someone hiding behind fake photos and a fake life. I only knew one thing. He thought I was weak, and I wasn't. Not anymore. Later that afternoon, he messaged me again, acting as if nothing was wrong. "Baby, I need to talk to you urgently." I forced my hands to stay steady as I typed back, "I'm here. What's happening?" He replied with a long, dramatic explanation. He said he got into trouble with the government of the country he was supposedly working in. He said he had to pay fines. He said people were after him. He said if he didn't get help, he might lose everything. And then he wrote the amount, $25,000. I stared at that number so long that the screen blurred. "I don't have that," I wrote honestly, because that part, at least, was true. "I only have around $500 to my name. That's all." He didn't even pretend to care. He didn't say, "Oh, my love, are you okay?" He didn't ask about my rent, or my bills, or my life. He just said, "Try your best. I really need you." I sat there in silence for a long moment. And that's when the idea came. Not fully formed, not polished, but a spark. Something dangerous and desperate and strangely empowering. A trap. My trap. I needed time to think it through. So I told him I would try to see what I could do tomorrow. He thanked me excessively, showered me with love, and typed long, emotional messages that meant nothing now that I knew who he truly was. That night, I barely slept. I lay in the dark, imagining all the ways he probably scammed other women, all the money he had taken, all the hearts he had manipulated. My humiliation slowly reshaped itself into strategy. By morning, the plan was forming clearly. Around 7 a.m., he messaged again. It was like he never sleep. "Baby, have you been able to get the money?" I stared at the message and felt a strange calmness wash over me. This was it. Time to begin. "I went to the bank," I lied, "and they said they can offer me a business loan of $50,000, and the good part of it is that is interest-free. I think you can get yourself sort with $25,000 you need, and I also get something started with the remaining $25,000, so I can also support in paying back." Instantly, he replied, "Good, that's amazing. Have you gotten it?" I let my fingers hover over the keyboard, crafting every word with care. They said the loan requires some documents, but the problem is the application fees and document processing cost $5,000. I don't have that kind of money. Silence. A long one. He wasn't expecting this. Scammers want money coming in, not money going out. But he wanted that $25,000 so badly that I knew he would wrestle with this. Finally, he wrote, "Why so expensive? Can't you ask someone? Borrow it? Use your savings?" I could feel the frustration between his words. He needed me desperate. But I wasn't. I was calculating. "I don't have any savings left. I used everything helping you before," I wrote, letting my words twist the knife. "If you really need this urgently, can you get someone to borrow you the $5,000? Once I get the loan, I'll send you $30,000 so you can pay the person back." This time, this silence was even longer. Minutes passed, then an hour. I thought maybe he had realized the trap. Maybe he had sensed I was no longer the woman he shaped. But that evening at 7:48 p.m., my phone buzzed. "I am trying. Give me time. I need this money urgently, so I will do it." I felt my heartbeat thicken in my chest. He wasn't backing out. For the next few days, he tried to negotiate. "Can the bank reduce the fee? Can you get a smaller loan? Can you pay half?" I stayed firm, calm, soft, just like he trained me to be. But this time, I was performing. On the fourth day, he finally wrote the message I had been waiting for. "Baby, I have the $5,000. I will send it tomorrow." I stared at the screen in disbelief. A scammer sending you money. Me, the woman he thought was his puppet. The next day, the money arrived. I actually cried when I saw it. Tears of shock, of triumph, of something I still can't name. But the trap wasn't finished, not being close. That evening, I told him, "The bank said the loan will take 1 month to process." He panicked instantly, just like I expected. "1 month? Baby, I need it this week. I told you that. I begged them," I wrote. "I told them it was an emergency. But the bank said if I can pay to fast-track it, honey." I expected hesitation, anger, maybe even threats after telling him the bank requested more money. Guess scammers play generous when they believe they're about to win 10 times more. But the moment I sent the message, a strange thrill ran through me. It was the kind of adrenaline that comes when you're stepping into danger, but you've already survived worse. For the first time, he was the one trapped by his own greed. He read my message immediately. I watched the typing dots blink on and off for a full minute. That tiny blinking symbol had never held so much power. It was him struggling, calculating, trying to decide whether I was still the fool he thought I was. Then he finally wrote, "How much is the fast-track deposit?" My heart almost stopped. I didn't answer right away. I let him wait, let him feel the anxiety he had fed me for months. Finally, I typed, "I don't know yet. The bank said they'll call me tomorrow. I'll tell you the exact amount then." "Okay," he replied quickly, too quickly. "Tell me. I need the money this week. I am begging you." That made me laugh bitterly. Months ago, those words would have melted me. Now they were nothing but recycled lies from a man who had stolen nearly $30,000 from me without flinching. That night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Something inside me felt unfamiliar. Confidence. Not the loud kind, not the kind people brag about. A quiet kind, born from surviving humiliation and turning it into strategy. I wasn't just getting my money back. I was taking back my dignity, piece by piece. The next morning, I messaged him before he could message me. "The bank called," I wrote. "They said the fast-track deposit will be expensive because of how rushed the loan is." He responded immediately, "How much? Tell me, please hurry." I stared at the screen for a long moment before typing, "They said the fast-track deposit will be $4,800. Another long silence. I imagined him pacing, sweating, convincing himself that investing a little more would get him the $25,000 he was expecting. Then, "Babe, that is too much. I already gave you $5,000. How can you ask me for more?" I forced myself to stay calm, to stay in character. "I didn't ask for more. The bank did. You said you needed the money urgently. I'm trying my best. If you want me to wait the full month, then fine. But you told me your life was in danger." He panicked instantly. "No, not 1 month. I need it this week. I must get this resolved. Baby, please, you have to help me." Oh, how many times I had heard those words. How many times I had believed them. Not anymore. We spent the entire day going back and forth. He begged, I stayed steady. He tried guilt, I stayed gentle. He tried manipulation, I stayed calm. By sunset, he was cracking. "Are you sure this fast-track fee is real?" "Yes," I replied simply. "How soon will you get the loan if I pay it?" "In a week, they say." "And you promise you'll send me the $25,000 immediately?" I almost laughed at the idea of making promises to a scammer about money he would never see. "Yes," I typed. "I'm doing this for you, honey. Maybe I should send you $40,000 so you can have enough to return the fees back to wherever you get it, and maybe little left to keep you going for a while too. And I will just hold on to the $10,000. It took him 2 more days of struggling, arguing with himself, trying to find another solution. But his greed was stronger than his suspicion. He wanted that money too badly. And then, on a Thursday afternoon, at exactly 3:27 p.m., he sent me another message. "I will get the $4,800. Please, Teresa, do not fail me." I stared at the words for so long the screen dimmed. Good. He had taken everything from me. My savings, my trust, my peace. It felt poetic that he was now handing his own greed to me, piece by piece. The next morning a notification came in. He actually sent the $4,800. Almost $10,000 total, voluntarily, because he believed his own lies. I sat at my kitchen table and cried, not out of sadness, but from the overwhelming mix of victory and disbelief. I thought of all the nights I cried because of him, all the times I blamed myself, all the times he manipulated me. Now here he was, giving back what he stole. But still, I wasn't finished. Not yet. I messaged him that afternoon. The bank confirmed the fast-track deposit. They will start processing the loan. He replied instantly, "Good. When will they release the money?" "1 week," I typed. "Maybe 5 days." He exploded with messages. "Please always call to remind the bank it's emergency so they don't delay. Please, Teresa, please." I read each message slowly, taking in every ounce of desperation, and answered, "Okay." I closed my eyes and exhaled shakily. It wasn't even half of what he stole from me, but it was something. $9,800 recovered out of almost $30,000 I lost. But now the scammer was waiting for the loan money he believed would arrive in a week, waiting for his big payout, waiting for me to send him $50,000 believing he already invested $9,800 to get, and I had no idea how to keep him hooked. I wasn't like him. I wasn't a professional liar. I wasn't a manipulator who crafted stories like weapons. I was just a broken woman trying to get back pieces of herself, pieces he stole. Days passed and my anxiety only grew. Every time his name appeared on my phone, my hands shook. Teresa, any update with the loan? Teresa, I really need you now. Teresa, please don't fail me. His messages came every morning like pressure on my chest. I would stare at them, trying to think, trying to create something believable. But my mind was blank. He was skilled. I wasn't. He always had news stories. I had none. So I did something I never imagined I would do. I went online looking for help. I found forums, communities, people who had been through what I was going through. I read stories of victims, people who lost everything. Some gave up, some fought back, some managed to recover a little, some didn't. I reached out everywhere, anywhere. Then someone recommended a platform where victims shared strategies. Another suggested contacting Scammers Karma for advice. I typed with trembling fingers. I explained my situation. I asked, how do I keep this scammer in the trap long enough to recover more? And they gave me ideas, some harsh, some risky, some brilliant. One stood out. Pretend to be ill, emotionally pull him in, make him feel responsible, make him feel guilty. At first, I didn't want to do it. It felt wrong, it felt manipulative. But then I remembered how he manipulated me, how he made me cry until my eyes burned, how he made me feel worthless while stealing my money. I remembered the nights I couldn't sleep, the days I couldn't eat, the months of pain. So I did it. One evening, I texted him, I'm not feeling well. I think something's wrong with me. I might go to the hospital. His reply came quickly but cold. Okay, but please don't forget the loan this week. My problem is serious here. No concern, no care. And that lack of concern lit something inside me. A strategy. I fought back, not with logic, but with emotion. Wow, so that's all you care about? I'm telling you I'm sick, and you don't even ask what's wrong with me? I'm here breaking myself to help you, and you don't even pretend to care. Immediately, he panicked. No, Teresa, don't say that, please. I care for you. I continued. If I'm sick, if something is seriously wrong, I'm not sending anything. I need to take care of myself. I'm tired of being treated like an ATM. That hit him hard. He had invested too much already, and he wasn't ready to lose me. Not yet. He started calling me my love, my heart, my only support. He apologized, he begged, he tried to act soft and concerned, but I could see the desperation leaking through every word. He didn't care about me. He cared about the $50,000 he thought he was about to receive. The more he begged, the more power I felt returning to me. Finally, I said, I'm going to the hospital tomorrow for tests. I don't have money for it. If you care about me, you'll support me the way I've supported you. Silence. Long silence. Then, how much is the test? I told him, $3,500. He argued, he hesitated, he complained about his dangerous situation, his boss, his government problems, the same recycled script. But guilt pushed him, and fear of losing the $50,000 pushed him even harder. 2 days later, he sent the $3,500. I stared at my phone in disbelief. My hands were cold. My chest felt tight. Another win. But the biggest move was still ahead. The next day, I texted him. The doctor said the tests show something serious. They think I need surgery. He replied immediately, What surgery? I waited 5 minutes to increase tension. They said it's urgent. They're still explaining, but the cost is around $50,000. I can't think clearly. I just want to live. He panicked instantly. Teresa, what are you saying? No, don't use the loan money. We have business together. You promised me. I replied gently, I value my life more than business. I'm scared. I need to survive first. He exploded and insulted me. I didn't reply for an entire hour, then finally texted him. I have properties I inherited back home. If you're truly with me, when you come here, we can work things out. I can sign them to you. You can make money from them. But right now, I have to save my life. When I mentioned the properties, something in his tone changed instantly. It was like flipping a switch. Minutes earlier, he was insulting me, calling me selfish, accusing me of betrayal. But the moment he read the word properties, he softened. He recalculated. He suddenly remembered how to care. And he replied, "Oh, baby, you didn't tell me you have properties. Why you hide that from me?" I stared at my phone, my heart pounding, not because I was scared he'd find out the truth, but because I realized just how predictable he actually was. He didn't care about my surgery. He didn't care about my health. He didn't care about me. He cared about the illusion of future wealth, even if it was only a story I'd crafted. It wasn't something I shared with people. I typed softly, playing the role. I inherited some lands and a building long ago, but I don't talk about it. I felt embarrassed. Of course, none of that existed, not even close. It was one of the strategies the support groups gave me, something that would hook him emotionally and financially. A promise of future reward scammers could never resist. His next message came quickly. "Baby, listen, maybe we can sell one now, before your surgery. If we sell one property, you can send the money to me immediately. I will take care of everything from here. That way you don't need loan problem. Let me handle it." There it was, the signature move of a catfisher. He wanted the sale to go through him, not me. He wanted the imaginary property money sent to him first, just like the fake emergencies he once used on me. I let my hands shake, not from fear, but from holding back anger. "I don't know if the sale can happen in time," I replied, sounding overwhelmed. "The hospital says I need to pay for the operation deposit. I just want to live. I can't think properly." Instead of comforting me, he panicked about the money again. "Teresa, stop stressing yourself. Don't think too much. Sell one property. Send the money to me and I'll fix everything. We can use your properties for our future. This is what couples do. Don't go to hospital yet." I almost laughed. Almost. Because even in my fake dying scenario, even when I pretended my life was hanging by threads, the only thing he cared about was receiving money first. His desperation gave me power, and it gave me clarity. "I don't know. I feel weak," I wrote, letting the emotional manipulation sink deeper. "The doctor said I need the deposit as soon as possible. What if the property takes months?" He didn't care. "Forget the doctor. The property money is bigger. Think big. You don't understand business. Trust me and send it." I watched his words. Every message revealed more of who he truly was, a cold, calculated thief hiding behind soft words and emojis. And then I used the guilt. If you cared about me, really cared, you wouldn't be rushing me when I'm sick. I'm scared, and selling a property right now feels risky. I need the surgery deposit first, and the bank loan should arrive today. He switched tones again instantly. "Baby, no, don't say that. I care. You know I care. I'm sorry. I just don't want you to waste opportunities. I'm here. I'll help you." He was cornered, desperate to keep me close, afraid that if he pushed too hard, he'd lose access to everything he wanted. So I delivered the next emotional blow. "I will take the loan money to the hospital once received, and so I can pay for the surgery. And I need your prayer and support. Now we can talk about property later." He froze. I could sense it even through the screen. The scammer had already sent $13,300. He didn't want to lose that investment, but he didn't want to wait more either. "What? No, 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 you can't use the loan money. That's for our business." I let him rant. Insults, panic, fear, greed. And then, silence, followed by the question he cared about most.
What about the properties? Of course. Always the properties, the ones that didn't exist, the ones that made him believe he still had control. They're still there, I typed, calm and steady. When I recover, we'll talk about them, but for now, I'm focusing on saving my life. I sent the message. I watched him sit in that fear, in that uncertainty, in that realization that he couldn't force me anymore. And then finally, he snapped. So you really going to use the loan for yourself? Teresa, you're selfish. I replied, I choose my life first. He stopped typing, stopped begging. So he chose to act cool with that decision of mine so he don't lose it all. He replied, I will pray for you, and I hope God protect me too while you are there, because now I am here in trouble also, but you're using the money for surgery. I whispered to myself, so scammers also pray to God.
He wanted the properties handed to him. He thought I would panic and fall into his emotional trap. But what he didn't know, there were no documents, no deeds, no land, no property. It was all a story, the same way he had used stories to bleed me dry. And the best part? He believed every word. He still believed the properties were real. He still believed he might get something later. He still believed I was hooked, while he was the one trapped. Would you like to hear the rest of my story? How I finally exposed this catfishing scammer, got my money back, and uncovered his real identity. Then follow the Scammers Karma YouTube channel. Turn on the notification bell, share your experience in the comment section if you ever had encounter with scammer, so you will be notified when I am back with the rest of my story. You will also be notified when they have new video about another scammer who got their karma. And make sure you share my story with your friends and family. Let's create awareness together so we can all protect ourselves and the people we love from scammers. Do not forget to like and hit the subscribe button to support Scammers Karma's channel. It's totally free.